Justices Mohamed Warsame, Kathurima Minoti and Helen Omondi of the Court of Appeal have unanimously agreed that the High Court erred by freezing implementation of the Finance Act 2023. And I quote, "The upshot of our decision is that the application has merit and the same is allowed as prayed with the effect that the order made on the 10th of July 2023 suspending the Finance Act 2023 and the order prohibiting the implementation of the Finance Act 2023 be and is hereby lifted pending the hearing and determination of the appeal. Courts shall abide the outcome of the appeal." End of quote. The bench argued that the judge would have considered suspending the disputed clauses in the Act instead of suspending it in entirety to allow the government to have a source of funding for its operations. Treasury CS Njuguna in his application argued that the suspension of the Act would have serious irreversible economic consequences that would bring government operations to a halt. He further argued that the Act was meant to generate revenue in the tune of 211 billion with an average of 500 million daily. And despite the actual figures being contested, the court agreed that the revenue was to be collected with the operationalization of the Act. In its ruling, the court says that, and I quote, "Had the trial judge considered the substantial and irreversible public interest in this matter, the court would have been hesitant to suspend the whole Act." End of quote. The decision by the appellate court has elicited mixed reactions from various Kenyans from different quarters.
We are told that the Court of Appeal has lifted the orders suspending implementation of the infamous Finance Act. And they say pending determination of the main suit. What that means is Kenyans are now going to be even more heavily taxed.
We expected for any judicial officer of at least sound mind to stay one or two clauses of any act. But when an entire financial act is stayed, that is enough to say that they were up to something. I'm happy today we celebrate that the court has upheld the financial bill and the government is free to collect taxes to make sure that it can spend for the well-being of this country.
Wewe Mheshimiwa Ruto tunakupenda. Angalia kwa bajeti penye utatoa pesa ujengee watu wa Kibra nyumba huko. Wachana na walimu wetu maneno ya kulete levy, housing levy kwa walimu atoe.
This is the first time the provisions of the Finance Act have been challenged both in terms of procedure and enactment. It is also the first time that orders suspending Finance Act in its entirety have been issued. The court has directed the two appeals against the Act be heard and determined within 60 days from 28th of July. David Kagina, K24 TV.